very own WGN News.
IVF is protected here in the state of Illinois. I welcome the members of the General Assembly who are looking at new ways for us to protect doctors and patients on IVF, but it is protected. People who live in other states who want to have children using IVF, come to Illinois. We're protecting your rights in so many ways, but specifically regarding IVF.
Governor J.B. Pritzker renewing his commitment to make Illinois a so-called safe haven for all reproductive rights. His comments come in the wake of the Alabama Supreme Court ruling frozen embryos are children and their destruction should be prosecuted. In Springfield, lawmakers are working to further protect fertility treatments here. One bill would expand the number of rounds of IVF covered under state insurance law. And State Representative Margaret Croak, a Democrat from Chicago's North Side, is the sponsor of that bill. She joins me right now to talk more about it. Hello, State Representative. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, for those outside who are watching who don't really understand what's going on, can you break it down? Should folks who want IVF or who are in the middle of it right now be afraid?
I would be afraid if you live in states that are not like Illinois. Illinois, luckily, last year we have guaranteed the right to IVF. IVF and embryos do not have personhood status in the state of Illinois, but in other states, because we're now deciding women's reproductive health on a state-by-state basis, I would be concerned. Because we all knew when Roe was overturned, this was going to be the next frontier that people went after.
Now, when the governor says that folks are protected, what does he mean exactly?
So I believe what he means is that in the Reproductive Health Act, there is a line in there that says that embryos do not have personhood status in the state of Illinois. That means that, like Alabama, where they've decided that an embryo
is a child.
Has personhood status, and people can be charged for what they are saying murder of the destruction of these embryos. That cannot happen in the state of Illinois. We are actually expanding IVF. We are making it so that you do not go bankrupt trying to have a family. And that's what my bill does. It pertains to private insurance and expanding coverage for people who want to be parents.
Yet you already championed a bill to help with insurance coverage for certain folks. And now this is expanding it to whom?
This is going to eliminate the 4-round cap that is mandated in private insurance. That 4 rounds is just a complete arbitrary number. So we are going away with it. We see that 4 rounds usually ends up with a 30% success rating, which is 30% chance of a live birth. But when you go to 6 rounds of IVF, that percentage increases to 70%. So just those 2 rounds are life-changing.
So as Illinoisans, are we welcoming folks, as Governor Pritzker says, to come across the border and to do their IVF here?
Yeah, I think that we're saying, one, we want to make sure that you are the financial barriers are not something in your way if you'd like to have a family this way. And also there is legislation to make sure that you can keep your embryos safe here in storage. We are not going to force you to have them in perpetuity. You can dispose of your embryos in whatever way you see fit, whether that's giving them away, donating them, whether that's keeping them forever or destroying them.
Why do you feel personally so strongly about this?
I just don't understand how people can say that they are pro-family, but they are anti-IVF. I am blessed with 3 children under 4. And if someone tried to take that away from me or said that I could not have that family and my only option was IVF, I would be devastated. Part of me would be missing if I was not a mother. And I can't sit back and watch our government take away these rights from people who want to have families.
Now, this bill will be brought up in the next session, correct?
It'll move next week, hopefully out of committee, and we'll be able to pass it this year. Yes.
All right. State Representative Margaret Croak, thank you so much. Appreciate your help and coming on today and explaining this to everyone.
Thank you.